everybody, I'm Jessie Ziegler with Reddit Quilting Studio, and I have a new free motion quilting tutorial for you today. It's called Echoed Swirls, and this is one of my favorites. It has great texture. You can use it as an edge-to-edge all-over kind of a design, or you can scale it down and use it in small areas, but this one's a crowd pleaser. A lot of people like it. So I'm going to show you how I do this. I'm going to start over here at the side, and I'm going to make a long sweeping, kind of like a curl shape, where you can think of it as a question mark, and echo back on the inside of the shape, not around the outside. And then I'm going to aim for my, at this place where I started, that's what I'm going to be aiming for when I echo, and I'll show you as we go along. From here, I'm going to pivot and come back echoing on the same side, but instead of going into that circle part, I'm going to stop and go around the swirl, okay, to the part that I started. Then I'm going to pivot and come echo the same way I just came from. This time I'm going to stop and I'm going to start a new swirl in a new direction. So I'm looking to make that question mark shape or that curl shape and echo along the inside back to my new pivot point. And once I reach that, I'm going to go back in the same direction on the same side I just came, stop before I get to the circle, and then echo all the way around. I'm going to do that one more time. Echo, and go back to my pivot point. Okay, now when I go around, I guess I'm going to do complete most of this echoing, or most of the way around the shape. I'm just going to stop here and I'm going to make a new swirl in a new direction. And echo back on the inside to my pivot point. Then I'm going to echo again, stopping before I get into the circle and echoing all the way around till I get to that point. Okay, so one thing I like about this design is that you can keep echoing if you want. You can stop and start a new swirl in a new direction, or like when I get to this point, it looks like I'm on the same path as this last echo of this swirl was. So one of the things I can do here is continue on and complete that echo of that swirl. So same thing with this. I'm at this point, now I can complete a swirl on the outside, like what was begun here, in other words. So this kind of makes for a nice seamless type of addition onto your echoing. Okay, I'm just going to stop here and do an echo back here. Touch my touch point. Echo back around, stopping before I get in the circle. Coming back to this point. Echoing around. This time, instead of going all the way to my touch point, I'm just going to stop and begin echoing this. But I'm going to stop again because I want to fill in more space over in this area of the design. So I'm going to, again, echo my way back to my touch point. Start echoing from the same side of what I just came from. I'm going to make my way around again, although I'm going to stop here and do a swirl in this direction. And I might make a swirl in this direction to kind of get into this corner over here. I'm going to continue on this way and make a swirl over here. I'm going to pick up where I left off echoing this shape. And do another swirl this way. So it's good to get your swirls going in all directions. It's also nice to vary the size of the swirls. I don't think you could do this design the same way twice if you tried. There's just a lot of opportunities to make different decisions, go in different directions, and the fun interplay comes when all of these designs are connected through their echoing. So as you get closer to filling in the shapes between these echoed swirls is when you might choose, like right here, it's kind of a small space to put a new swirl, so I'm just going to go back and forth and echo the lines that I already have until this space is filled, and then I'll move on to a new space to fill in. This might seem boring to just put so many lines on these shapes, but it really lends to a great overall effect when it's all filled in. So I'm just traveling on my quilt edge to get to new areas. Try to be consistent with the size. Okay, I'm going to stop. I try to be consistent with the size of my echoes, but invariably there'll be different ones, and I just wanted to stop and say that when it's all filled in and you're looking at it as a whole, you're not going to be able to tell where your mistakes are. I wanted to stop because I wanted to explain this area. So I'm getting in here small enough to where I'm not going to have a lot of room for myself to back out of this design. So this honestly is probably one of the most trickiest things about the design, is just learning how you're going to move and maneuver your way out of small spots. So here's an idea. You can just echo these lines, fill in that area until you're out of it. There's a number of ways that you can do that. You can just stop like I did there and move your way back. I don't want to completely leave yet because I still have a lot of space in here to fill. So I'm going to just stop and pivot and make these line segments fill the space. I can start filling this in. You can make your lines connect. The only thing I would be careful of a little bit is just not crossing your lines. it would probably be better to meet up with a line and backtrack a little bit than to completely cross your lines. I think that might stand out a little bit more than just like what I did here and not following in a perfect echo, but meeting up with that line. I think there needs to be another swirl in this area, so I'm just going to go ahead and insert that. And then I'll follow over here. Follow down on the quilt edge to move to a new area. I don't think I'll put any more swirls in here, so I'm just going to work my way back and forth to fill up this area until it is completely quilted, and then work over to a new area. Okay, then I'll come back over here. Echo this swirl. I'm going to turn back around because I can tell that this is going to be a narrow place to sneak through. So I'm going to try to fill this area before I run into a dead end. So I'm probably going to put a few lines here, go back, and while I'm closer to this area, I'm going to fill in this. I would follow this all the way back around, and then I've only got this one section to fill in, and it's kind of too small to do any more swirls, so I'll just focus on echoing these last outer lines. Okay, see, all done, and it gives a very nice overall dimension and texture. And my quilting is better than my drawing, so hopefully yours is too. But this is a great way to practice with just pen and paper, getting those lines right in your mind, and then just going for it. Hope this helped. Contact me with any questions you might have. My email address is threadedquilting@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram @threadedquilting. My website is threadedquilting.com. And that's about all. Thank you. Bye.